Assassin's Creed Nexus VR. That's a mouthful, not really, but Assassin's Creed Nexus is going to be the first Assassin's Creed VR game, and I'm very interested to see how they go about doing this, because I've been a pretty big fan of the Assassin's Creed series since Black Flag. I'm a fan of this series, and I'm interested to see how they're going to do it here in VR. They released a trailer not too long ago, about a week ago now, and I'm only just now getting around to it. Sue me, I don't know. Listen, I wanted to talk a little bit about the trailer, and then, of course, what I think some of the gameplay might be like, and kind of theorize and stuff like that, right? So, starting off with the trailer, every single VR trailer seems to do this, where they have, like, some random actor, they put on the VR headset, and boom, they're in the game. I find it kind of goofy at this point. I feel like that trend is kind of on its way out now. Hopefully that kind of does die off, because, like, it's obviously a trailer for a VR game. You don't have to show someone putting on a VR headset, right? This is kind of similar to how, like, Nintendo will be like, hey, let's play the Nintendo Switch, and they'll just pull out the Nintendo Switch and just start playing it and stuff like that, and then it becomes the trailer for the game or something. It's really weird, and I hope that trend kind of dies out soon, at least for VR, because it's kind of goofy, and it makes every trailer look the same. Another thing about the trailer itself is it's all pre-rendered CGI footage, so we don't actually have any gameplay on our hands, which is a little bit sad. But another thing, too, is based on the way they're presenting this game, from the screenshots to this trailer itself, it seems like it's not going to be an open-world game. And apparently, it's not going to be an open-world game. Apparently, it's not going to be like the other Assassin's Creed games where you can just go run it across rooftops and go across the whole city if you wanted to or nothing. It seems like... And I don't know for sure how it's going to be presented, how it's going to be done, but it seems like each level of the game is probably going to be its own, like, little mini world, if that makes sense, where you will be able to kind of move around, and it will be open world in that regard, but it's basically going to be super narrow and have, like, maybe 3 different paths you can take to get to your goal. That definitely seems to be the way that the game is going to be doing this. A little bit disappointing, but if they do it right, it would still be really good, because you could replay it over and over and over again and find all kinds of different paths and goofy ways to assassinate your target or something like that, right? That's the dream, but I feel like we're going to end up in a situation where there's basically only one real path, and the other paths are just a longer version of the same path. Hopefully that doesn't happen. But again, we don't have any gameplay, so it's hard to say how the maps will be done anyway. Now, also in the trailer, it presents the fact that you are going to be 3 different assassins. You're going to be able to play as any of them. And this is interesting to me too, because is this going to be a situation where throughout the game, you're switching between one character to the next as you go through different levels? Or is it going to be simply you start a profile and you choose which character you are, and you're that character through that entire game cycle? Like you do that through the whole game and you're just that one character? Or is it going to be like there's 3 different stories or something, right? Where you be one assassin and you do all of his story, and another assassin, you do all of his story, and then the third girl, and you do all of her missions and stuff like that. How are they going to do this? Is it all going to be together in one thing, or do you have to, like, basically do 3 different stories? Very confused on how that works, but also... the trailer, again, it's all CGI, so it's hard to say what gameplay is going to be like, but it seemed like each assassin is going to have their own unique weapons or something like that, and I feel like if they are going to do the route of, like, you can pick your character and stuff like that before you go out on these different stories and stuff like that, these different assassination missions, it would make sense that they would each have their own unique weapon, because then... What is the point in never switching between characters? Because it shouldn't affect much else besides what weapons you can carry, unless they have weird different abilities or something like that. Maybe one character can jump further to another platform. Maybe one of them is able to swing and the other ones aren't for some reason. I don't know. Maybe some of them just do weird stuff. Maybe one of them has some kind of weird slow motion ability or something, right? Could do any number of things, because again, we don't have gameplay. I want to really emphasize that for this video, because as excited as I am for Assassin's Creed Nexus, we don't have any gameplay, so it's hard to be too excited. But yeah, I think that if they're going to do 3 different assassins, they could do some wacky thing and give them each a unique power, or just each of them have a unique set of weapons. Some of the weapons that we saw were a crossbow, a regular bow, there's like a sword and dagger type deal, someone has like a tomahawk like axe thing at some point, and of course everyone seems to have the hidden blade, because like why else would they, like, of course they would have a hidden blade. But yeah, those are kind of the weapons we saw. It didn't seem like we saw. I don't think there was any other weapons in the trailer, and it doesn't seem like you're going to be able to use any other weapons besides those that I just listed. Maybe you would be able to get some of the spears from the guards or something like that. Maybe you could get like a musket or one of these other guns from the soldiers and stuff like that. It's hard to say because again, we don't have gameplay, so we don't know what kind of weapons we're going to be able to play around with or how it's going to work. One thing that is confirmed that we do know based on the website, plus like some other information and stuff like that from articles and things like that, is comfort options exist. They have all kinds of different comfort options between like teleporting. So like if you want to parkour up a building, you can teleport to each like little section and teleport your way up to the top of the building. There's like the like black ring stuff that goes to the edges of your screen that can help you as well. All these different things. We've seen a lot of these comfort options in many different VR games. But the question is how is climbing going to work for people that turn off those comfort options? Is it going to be too nauseating without them? Like, is it going to be super disorientating and like, oh, whoa, I'm about to fall in real life kind of situation? It's hard to say. But I do have a theory or an idea of like how they might be able to do some of the stuff, like the leap of faith and some of these like jumping from huge skyscrapers to assassinate someone or something like that. Well, I guess not really skyscrapers, but you get what I'm saying. I think what they could do, and this is obviously a theory because, again, we don't have gameplay or nothing else like that, but I think they could do it similar to how they've done Resident Evil 4 for VR. Because Assassin's Creed Nexus isn't the first game where we've had parkour that's kind of somewhat crazy. Resident Evil 4 had some level of parkour in it because you could jump through windows and you could jump off of ladders and climb up ladders and do all these different stuff. It's obviously not as crazy as something like Assassin's Creed VR, but they handled it by basically making you step out of your body and then your character performs the animation of like jumping to the next thing or climbing down this thing or jumping out of a window, you know, these kinds of things, right? And then you get sucked back into your body and you get to play again. I wonder if they'll do something like this in this game. Because again, they did the same thing in Resident Evil 4 with like kicking. So like if you try to kick someone, your character, you step out of your character for half a second while they do the kicking animation and then you step back in their body. Is this going to be similar in this game too, where like you're about to do a certain kind of assassination or something and you just step out of your body and then it performs that animation and then you step back out? I feel like that's something that I'm honestly kind of expecting that a little bit in this game, especially for something like Leap of Faith, because I don't see how they're going to do that in VR without it really freaking people out and really making people sick. But yeah, those are kind of my thoughts on it so far. I'm definitely interested to see some gameplay. Hopefully we get some kind of gameplay reveal in like the next month or two, because the game is slated to release sometime late this year for holiday season and stuff like that. Most likely going to release with the Quest 3. That's my theory, is that it's going to release side by side with the Quest 3, because it's going to be available on Quest 2, Quest 3, and Quest Pro and all that jazz and stuff. It's also not confirmed if this is going to come to PlayStation VR or any of that other stuff, but I would definitely love to see it come to PlayStation VR and all these other places, because then more people get a chance to play it, and maybe some people even get to play it sooner than others, and you can get reviews and ideas of like how the game's actually going to be, right? Plus, PlayStation VR, from what I understand, from what I've seen, obviously has way better graphics and stuff like that, and so it would be awesome to see this game in better graphics for something like PlayStation VR or even just Steam VR. I kind of doubt it would come to Steam VR, but who knows? But yeah, that's what I think. Let me know in the comments below what you guys think of Assassin's Creed Nexus, if you guys are excited for it, interested in it, and if you guys have any other information that maybe I missed in this video, let me know in the comments below. And yeah, please do like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share this video, and do all those wonderful things like that, because I greatly appreciate all of it. And remember, most importantly, to stay asleep.